Hi, I'm Sarah from Boat New Zealand and I'm standing here on beautiful Rangitoto Island. We've come out here to check out a new Sealegs, but it's not just any Sealegs, it's the 12-metre RC. When many people think of Sealegs amphibious boats, they imagine something like the original 6.1 metre rib that kicked off the range in the mid-2000s. Something smallish to buzz about in, then drive back up the beach to the boatshed. But the concept and the company has come a long way in the last 20 years. And the latest boat to go in the water sets a new standard in terms of what an amphibious alloy rib can be. Coupe is the second 12-metre cabin rib the company has launched, and the first to stay in New Zealand waters. This boat is named after the great Polynesian explorer Coupe, said to be the first to discover the islands of Aotearoa, and next summer it's off on its own voyage of exploration around the Motu. Some changes have been made since the first 12-metre. Compared to boat number 1, the cabin has been both raised and extended aft to provide increased space and headroom. The 12RC is a collaboration between Sealegs, Hall Marine Design and boat builders Purecraft from Papamoa in the Bay of Plenty. Coupe also has lots of optional extras, from long-range fuel tanks to radar and Starlink, to make her fit for the coastal voyaging her owner plans to use her for. The process of building a boat like this takes around 18 to 20 months, but it's worth taking time over, because one of the first things you notice when climbing aboard is the incredibly high level of finish. All the welds are coved and the aluminium painted to such a standard that nothing about the finished product says alloy boat. The interior upholstery and other finishes are equally immaculate. But enough on the aesthetics, the engineering side of the boat is just as impressive. It takes a lot of careful planning and design to take a boat this large, weighing around 8 tonnes when fully loaded with fuel and water, and make it perform not only at sea but also on land in its 3-wheeled configuration. In amphibious mode, the boat can either sit up high on its 3 wheels in driving mode or squat at the back to make it easier to board. To fully park the boat, say for overnighting on land, the back wheels can also be dropped right back so that the hull is sitting on the sand, the front wheel fully lifted up into the seagoing storage position. Out of the water, you can get a good look at the hull shape. As with other Sealegs models, the hull shape is pretty simple, with a single flat chine and no spray rails, the conventional V leading back to a flat on the centreline aft. The RC12 is fitted with Sealegs System 100 amphibious kit, powered by a 100 horsepower turbo diesel engine, a 4-cylinder inboard running a 49cc hydraulic pump. Power on the water is supplied by the largest outboards I have ever seen, a pair of new generation low-emission Mercury Verado V12 600 horsepower engines, fitted with 24.5-inch contra-rotating duoprops. With their sleek black cowls and chrome props, they add to the wow factor when the 12RC is out of the water. The boat is certainly eye-catching with its shiny white topsides, dark tinted windows, carbon-look tubes and its bronze swash. From a distance, it looks like a regular-size aluminium powerboat, but once it gets close, you realise how big it really is. Behemoth is a word which springs to mind, or perhaps more nautically, Leviathan. On board, about half the boat is cockpit, and compared to a launch of a similar size, there's not a lot of interior space. There's an elevated seating area to port, with a table that drops down to form a king-size single berth, and a galley ranged along the starboard side. There is excellent headroom in the cabin, tinted glass windows all around for great visibility, and a pair of tilt and slide electric sunroofs to let in light and air from above. Forward, a sliding door closes off the bow cabin, where there is a V-berth. Under the portside squab is the electric head. This is as bathroom as it gets. Having given the dog walkers of Takapuna Beach their thrill for the day, it's time to head out on the water. It's a bit lumpy out in the Rangitoto Channel, with some reasonable surf running in on a leftover northeasterly. We're hoping for some flatter water over by the Rangi shore. In the confused slop, about 20 knots is the most practical speed, but once we're in the lee of Rangitoto and can open up, she cruises at a comfortable 30. Downwind and smoother water, we can get up to 40 knots, getting up towards her top speed. From the elevated helm position, the sensation of speed is suspended. 20 knots feels like nothing, and 30 is still easy, though we do launch off a few waves and have to back off a bit for the sake of the passengers. At higher speeds, those V12s are burning a fair bit of fuel. From around 120 litres an hour at 20 knots, consumption rises to around 140 litres an hour at that comfortable cruising speed of 30, then around 220 litres an hour at 40 knots. In the right conditions, if you want to go flat out at around 50 knots, you'll burn through the 800-litre fuel tanks in 2 hours. It's easy to imagine what a great adventure it will be to head off around the coast of Aotearoa, finding new and isolated spots to drive up onto the beach and squat for the night. Getting back from Rangitoto to Takapuna takes less than 10 minutes, and then we're the sideshow again, attracting a new crowd. That's one thing this owner is going to have to get used to. This boat is impossible to ignore.
John Ecclestone from Boating New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe to our channel.